Hello, 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 and welcome to a quick rundown of Victoria 3 Dev Diary number 169, The Art of Iberian Twilight. We are getting so close to the release of the DLC in Update 1.12, and now we get to the part of the release cycle where they are showcasing art. Interestingly, this art dev diary includes some event content as well. So if you're a busy gamer on the go and don't have time to read the full dev diary, here is a quick TLDR rundown of what was discussed. As always, if you want to read the full dev diary, and I highly suggest that you do, a link to it is in the description. Let's dive in. They started off the dev diary with some monuments that you will be able to build and the events that track the progress of each one. The first one is the Peña Palace. They noted numerous times that this isn't the actual location of the Peña Palace on the map, and that it will be moved further south upon release. Each of these monuments will have events associated with them. For this one, the initial event will give you a boost to approval and pop attraction for the intelligentsia for 5 years. If you accept the event, you'll get this journal entry to track it. When you complete the project, you'll get plus 25 prestige and plus 5 legitimacy when you include the head of state's interest group in government. It might not seem like a lot, but when it comes to legitimacy, when you need it, you need it. Next up is one for Cuba, the Gran Teatro de la Habana. Accepting the project will give you a boost and approval to pop attraction of the Petite Bourgeoisie for 5 years. And when completed, you get plus 25 prestige and plus 5 units of fine art, along with plus 20 urbanization and employment of academics. All not bad. In Spain, we have the Atocha train station of Madrid. I would say more, but the image is all we got on this one. So, yay trains. Next up is the Cathedral of Manila in the Philippines. This one is interesting in that historically, the cathedral has been reconstructed multiple times because of earthquake damage. They decided to simulate this in the game with a new harvest condition for earthquakes. After completing the initial project, you'll get this journal entry when you have an earthquake and the cathedral is damaged. The next one is the Sagrada Familia. This one will be split into 3 different projects. You'll start off with this initial event, giving the Catholic Church increased approval and pop attraction for 5 years. After that initial project finishes, it'll follow up with these 2 projects. You can see here what the project will look like on the map throughout the process. And lastly, one more project to appease everyone that was annoyed it wasn't part of National Awakening, the Hofburg or Kaiser Forum. If you have National Awakening, you'll get this project. This one will also be a project separated into stages, so you might see only partial completions of this on the map. Next up is something that's always fun to see pre-release, the new table objects. Here we see sardines to represent Portugal, sliced Carabao mango from Manila, a Carlist beret and rosary representing Spain, a Cuban cigar representing Wisconsin, and some special coins, an 1875 Carlist insurrectionary coin that may or may not be illegal. You know, I think the cigar represents Cuba. Next, we have some new character art. Here we see the base outfits without additions added, and here we see them with their medals and sashes. Some very cool red Carlist berets, some cool Raiadio uniforms for soldiers posted in the colonies, some traditional Portuguese headwear, and finally, something I always find really cool in these art dev diaries. We see here the 3D models of historical characters in-game and the real-life images they used as their inspiration and model. Next up, we have some new UI. Here we see some of the concept images they used for their inspiration, and then finally, what the UI will look like. The main color of this DLC will be blue, but a different shade than the one used in Voice of the People. The pause screen will also have this shade of blue with a gold outline. And lastly, you can see what the UI will look like with an event, and what the main UI will look like with the pause frame up. Next up, we have the new paper map. Here you see some images that they used for their inspiration, and then some images of what the final paper map will look like. There will be the regular images on the map. However, they mentioned they aren't going to be using those big illustrations that we saw in National Awakening. On the bottom of the map, you'll see an image taking you through Spanish and Portuguese history. Spain is the top image and Portugal is the bottom one. They mentioned there was some thought about including both Spanish and Portuguese on the map to represent both countries. However, this was proving difficult, so they decided to make two separate paper maps. On the top, we see the Spanish one, and on the bottom, we see the Portuguese one. The main difference being the language used on each map. There's some really cool new event illustrations, all representing either events or themes from the narrative content we've seen so far. And this last one being a continuation from National Awakening. National Awakening gave us images of children in primary school, so now we get images of students at a university, completing the cycle. Icons for the various monuments discussed earlier. Next, some prestige goods. Very much looking forward to the full breakdown of these, probably coming in the changelog next week. And lastly, some new icons. Notably the new earthquake harvest condition icon here on the right. Maybe it's because I have a young daughter and I've read this book recently, but I never knew Madeline was a car list. Some very cool artwork coming with the update and DLC. We have one more dev diary next week on Thursday, the changelog. Always exciting for me because this is where we usually get a list of the new achievements. We're also back to just one dev diary next week. Very exciting news for me because the amount of video editing I've done with 2 dev diaries a week over the last 2 weeks, the only thing that's gotten me through it is every single one of these prestige goods. If you found this video helpful, please consider giving it a like and the channel a subscribe. A very special thank you to the channel members. You help make all of this possible, and I cannot thank you enough, which is why I keep saying it. That's it for now. As always, be awesome.